Welcome to Grounding Ascension, where we explore topics around activating and integrating our I am presence, coming back to our true selves. I am your host, Celeste Glus.
Welcome back to another episode of Grounding Ascension. And this series is all about well being during the holidays. I'm really excited to have a beautiful special guest with me today. And her name is Corinne. She is the co-founder of Shaktibarre, which is a bar and yoga studio with a compassionate approach to their classes. And we will be talking all about what that means, and particularly in today's topic about how mental health is related to in the wellness and fitness industry. We are both very well integrated in the wellness and fitness industry. So I can't wait for this conversation. Corinne, welcome to Grounding Ascension.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. See, much love to you and all of your family that you're bringing on here today to watch and listen.
Thank you. Well, thank you for your time, and let's go straight into it. So tell me, um, first a little bit about you and how you got into just fitness, and particularly, I guess we could talk about the mental health aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for asking me. So I was a four-sport athlete. I've always been in fitness. And after graduating those responsibilities, I still found myself very much craving a type of fitness that was effective and engaging to, every muscle group, every muscle fiber. And I really could only find that in bar, with the asterisk of finding that safely. There was always CrossFit and boxing and all of those amazing modalities, but I tended to get injured whenever I would go to those. So I found bar, or bar found me. And what I noticed is that our bar practice very much emulates some of those more challenging positions that perhaps a Kundalini meditation would. Not to say that the two practices are the same whatsoever, but I similarly found myself being quite frustrated in bar with all the pulsing and the angles and the shaking, and the opportunity to go within and really create a stronger foundation for my own nervous system and my own muscular structure. And I started thinking, I wonder why mindfulness and spirituality are so void from most bar practices in particular, but also across many boutique fitness offerings. And I started wondering if I was the only one that felt that way. And once I figured out I clearly was not, that many women and femmes are having a hard time connecting with their own bodies in these classes, yet they love them, yet they keep coming back. I asked myself one more question, and that was, well then, how can I get as many possible women into these classes if the desire is there? And really, it became about compassionate, kind, vibrant branding that really makes people curious and feel welcome, as well as creating accessible pricing. And lastly, but definitely not least, a team that upholds the same pillars, looks and feels different in their body types, in their ethnic backgrounds, in how and where they learned bar, and then of course streamlining it all under the umbrella of our Shaktibarre training. And from there, it honestly just took on its own life form. I remember walking in the doors of our studio after about 2 months and realizing, like, no one even knows who I am anymore. they're off on their own, discovering themselves through their bodies and making their own pods and friendships. And that's the big dream, to really enable another to teach themselves how meaningful our bodies can be, even through a practice that's as seemingly trendy and sexy and fitness driven as bar. So that really was the whole circle right there.
Yeah. And how have you seen this twist that you have given, right? This ability to infuse mindfulness and spirituality into your brand, into your teachers, into your classes. How have you seen that affect even the teachers themselves, but let's say even the
Yeah.
clients, right? The way that they are showing up for class, and more importantly, the way that they are relating to their bodies.
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. The change is, interestingly, the way human psychology works is we're very drawn to things that look organized and look easy. We want something to do the work for us. And that's cool. That's actually how our neurotransmitters work as well. They're like, yeah, I'm just ready to form a habit. So do it a few times, let me know, and I'll just keep going. So things that are easily habit forming attract people. And the thing is, however, that once the client or the student or the friend is there and present in the room week upon week, after week after week, or if it's 2020, every day, all day, it's Monday, however you want to make that joke, they won't stay just because you're organized. They won't stay just because you have great branding and your classes start on time. They stay for a category known as other. And that other is typically not always in the religious or divine sense, but just that spiritual nature, that emotional nature, that inward journey, questioning of the universe, solving life's problems. It's those things that can really be carried off of our mat and away from our bar. And so what I've noticed is clients that come in, they stay for those reasons, and they all find their own mode of empowerment for staying. Clients that don't stay are typically clients that have come in for maybe the first time, and they arrive, or now on the app, they are there in their own homes, arrived into our digital class, and they sense something more. They sense a feeling, they sense a realization. And keep in mind, our spiritual practices aren't always meant to comfort us. So sometimes just being annoyed with the teacher, or you think you are, is a good sign that there's some work there to be done. Stick with it. And sometimes I've seen those clients that won't stay because they're not interested in that other exploration. And I typically divide those people into two categories. I know there's way more, but one is just like not interested. That's their prerogative, and being spiritually inclined or not doesn't make you better or worse than your fellow bar classmate. And the other category could be people that want to know more about themselves through this body work, but maybe they're not ready. Maybe they haven't found the right teacher that really speaks to them. I truly believe that some of our greatest experiences in life can feel a bit triggering, but I think sometimes when you're first starting out, it's important to try to give yourself as safe of an incubator as possible, even if it's not the real world. Like, try to just go with that teacher that makes you smile, even if you have to turn your video off, and like give yourself a little hug while you're doing your practice. So I've seen those types as well.
And I love that you actually talk about bringing in spirituality into these classes, right? Because being so deeply entrenched in the fitness industry, that's definitely something that's not as common. And do you see a correlation between, because a lot of people, I don't believe that they're going into a fitness class necessarily looking for spirituality, unless it's maybe specifically a yoga studio, right? But I do believe that people are seeking something more from fitness classes. And this is where the topic of mental health comes into play. And this is what I'm really curious to know, even from your background with psychology. It's like, I think subconsciously people don't realize that they are looking for more. They just don't even know it yet. So do you see a link between offering that spiritual component or that mindfulness component, and a link between people's mental health?
So I'm going to give you like the fun answer and then the annoying answer. I'll start with the annoying. The annoying answer, if I'm really diving into the depths of psychological research, is even saying linked and even saying like correlated is, now I'm learning more and more in my PhD program, are like the most rarest terms ever to actually prove and take years of study. What have I gotten myself into? But I will say that, you know, just based off of observational data, again, most students, even in yoga, surprisingly come in for the fitness and the flexibility. Really, even in yoga, and this is like research that I've looked into, it's not just my opinion, it's observational from reading and it's observational from seeing them in class. They come in for body reasons, most of them, and then they stay for those other reasons. So like getting a student in the front door for a spiritual reason, it can happen, but it's just more rare than then coming in for a body reason or something like that. That being said, can we swear on your podcast? This year has been a fucking shit show. I swear to Ganesh and Godzilla and everyone you believe in that a torch just came in to 2020 to every facet and was like, and you know, in some ways, of course, we needed to see what we now see, and in other ways, we can't unsee what we have now seen. And anyway, so that being said, this year, you are absolutely right. I have observed more people coming in for mental health reasons and more people coming in looking for a spiritual and a healing outlet. So this year has been an interesting anomaly when compared to generalized observational data. However, people are also very, very tired. Even those that have the deepest spiritual practices, everyone is being pushed to their edges right now. And so I think it's interesting because while as it takes a bit more effort to be interested in something else when you take a fitness class, and it's exciting to see more people want to come in for their mental and spiritual health. Even those people are sometimes hard up on the effort that it takes to then follow through with a desire that they have for themselves. And so I know this might sound a little bit funny to anyone else that owns a fitness company, because of course everyone right now is trying to stay afloat and make money. But I would honestly say to you, like, let go of having to make a sale. You might even go under, because like there is nothing more unrealistic and harmful than trying to force somebody to get physically fit when they're mentally washed out, and or to try to force someone into a certain stage of their spiritual journey ever. And so really what you can do is just welcome, provide access, educate, answer questions, and just continue doing that until the sales come back. And yeah, there's ways, you know, to market, but I don't think that that's where the work is personally right now.
Yeah, and that brings forth a great conversation, right? It's like a lot of times the fitness and wellness industry, they are pushed by numbers and sales, obviously. And so in the midst of crisis, right, they can go both ways. And it's like they can force you to be harder on yourself, right? Or like you're saying, which is a very compassionate approach, which I don't believe a lot of people, or let's say just companies perhaps don't necessarily take your approach, but it's definitely a more holistic, healthy approach where it's saying, this is what I stand for. This is what we do. My doors are open to you, right? So first of all, how can a consumer see that? Because I think from a consumer's point of view, they don't really realize what's being bombarded to them, right? Like they don't see the effect of mental health that is happening through advertising and media.
Sure don't. Yeah. Well, okay. I mean, what would be helpful is if I could mention some specific examples. And some of it may have to do with a few companies that I know of, but obviously I'm not going to speak badly of them. But I think it's important to have a tangible for that answer. So what can be considered? First off, really, like truly, there are no fitness modalities out there that are going to magically fix your possible fitness problem. Like none. And ones that give you the cool new products and the cool new tricks and all that, that's great. That's helpful and that's inspiring. But I would really ask you, anyone listening, to gently sit with yourself and think on what truly makes you sustain your practices. And really, it is consistency. It's a compelling reason. Like, that's it. It's like waking up every morning, even if it's hard, and just doing the practice, being present in the practice. And on the days that you don't want to, or you forget your why, just to remember what's your compelling reason in that moment. Like, you could literally just go for a walk every day, holding a rock in each hand, straight out in this like zombie position, an isometric hold, and still get a banging body. Seriously. Like, I don't even care like that I have a bar company. I'm not trying to sell you on it. Like, realize and recognize that the power to your greatest fitness is in you. That's first. So I think what to look for after that is you want to look for companies that are telling you that. They're telling you, hey, I've got this cool thing. I've got some cool people here too. Here's some testimonials. Here's a fair price. Yeah, we're going to keep you engaged. We're going to be here on your hard days. Hopefully you feel called towards some of those who teach you on this platform, and you can integrate it with what you're doing elsewhere. Let's just take this one day at a time. And then before you know it, side note, 3 months later, you've got what you want, whatever that is. You're breathing better, you're more flexible, you're standing taller. So when you see companies that are telling you get XYZ in a certain amount of days, for example, there's a really great company called Daily Om, and I appreciate a lot of things that they do. And I also can't quite jive with selling a 21-day abs program, first of all, because like, where is the nutrition counseling in that? Which is, side note, like 80+% of your abs results are going to come from the kitchen anyway. Not to be mistaken with eating a lot less. Oftentimes with women, I find that it's mama eating more, actually. So we could talk about that in another podcast. But so there's that. It's like to sell you a certain goal in an unrealistic amount of days. And further, is that aligning with their branding? To have the word Om in your brand and then to talk about getting ripped abs in 21 days, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know what else to say. It just doesn't make sense. Again, that being said, they're obviously doing very well because it's an easier sell. And I'm not knocking whatever it is that they offer. I'm sure it's super fun. But when we're talking about true wellness and we're talking about things that you're feeding your body, information that you're feeding your body, and the long-term effect, the sustainability factor. Do you want to be fit for 21 days or do you want to be fit for the rest of your life? And by fitness, of course, less than I mean spiritual and physical. So I would look out for that. I would look out for what the offer is and a little bit more about the company. And yes, please.
For that specific actually example, which is a great one, how do you see that affecting the mental health of a consumer? Because I don't think people realize what happens in their brain when they see that.
That's true. Well, essentially your brain, I'm going to water it down a little bit, but your brain forms habits. And whether or not you like those habits or whether or not those habits are good for you, once they're stuck in there, they're hard to let go of. So when you are being hit as a consumer with a quick sale and a quick fix over and over and over and over again, your brain gets used to thinking that that is going to get you to succeed. Your brain will literally rather go for the 21-day program than the 90-day program. Your brain will literally rather go for the ripped abs program than the strong core program, even if they both do the same exact thing. And marketing people who may just be trying to make a sale, they know that. That's one of the things I have the most trouble with, is that they actually know that. And the book that I'm writing is all about that. It's all about conscious fitness branding, how to undo these lies and break us out of these short-term patterns and quick fixes that are unknowingly damaging us until, as you've asked, 21 days later, you know, whatever, maybe we did get the sick abs, but how long did they last? Or maybe we got the sick abs, but we feel like shit and we're hungry, you know, or maybe we got the sick abs, but now we're sitting there like, I saw the word Om in the offering, but I really didn't feel any other thing in that offering other than just like abs moves, you know. So they know that. They know the buzzwords. They know that your brain is wired for those quick fixes, as actually our entire world is starting to become more addicted to technology, more addicted to rapid results, rapid impermanent, I should say, results, buzzwords. And a lot of times it's a punitive marketing tactic. It's making you feel less than. It's making you feel like there's something that needs to be fixed. Now that brings into play the abusive and addictive nature of some brands' marketing tactics. So these are all things to look out for. I will just say though, for anyone that's like taking notes and you're like, wait, what did you just say? Because I know I'm a really fast talker. At the end of the day, what I want you to do, and what I know Celeste wants you to do as well, is ask your own body. Like, don't even worry about anything I just said for a second. Ask your own body. When you're doing those abs workouts, you know, the sample that we gave, put your hand on your own abs and ask yourself if you feel in tune with your body, if you feel like your progress will last, if you're breathing in a relaxed way, more or less, if you feel like starting the class is joyful and is interesting, and there's not like this anxiety around, I gotta do my class today at this exact time. Ask your own body, and wherever you sense a frenetic nature in your muscles or in your thoughts around that class, and truly it's not just because you like had a lot of caffeine that day, but whenever the energy is like a punishing energy towards yourself, that's really all you need to know. And you'll know.
Yeah, and it's definitely that punishing energy that I have sensed a lot in the fitness industry and the wellness industry. And I'm seeing that take a huge effect on the mental health of women.
Yes.
And the gap is that they don't see it. They're not realizing this. They're not realizing that they're creating this unhealthy relationship with their bodies and their minds. They don't even perhaps see mental health as an issue, right? We think of mental health as like complete depression or addiction. And it's like, what if it's just like you're saying, these companies are using very specific tactics. I just saw Social Dilemma, right? So it's like just with social media alone, but those things are also being used with these companies, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, here's the fun trick. So think about, like, I want to include all genders, and I'm just going to use this example related to my gender just to put it in my own, you know, tangible example for a moment. But think back to if and when you were a little girl. When would we have known that these marketing tactics are meant to hurt us? Like, who would have told us that? Did we learn about any type of body awareness in sex ed, in gym, in sports, in our first sexual interactions with partners? Did we learn about any of that from our parents, from our mamas, or whoever raised us as role models? Did we learn about any of that from movies? Did we learn about any of that from the first fitness classes that we took? And for those of you that did, bless you. Oh my gosh, bless you, because girlfriend, it took me like 25. No. Let's say 35, because I'm still on that path. It took me a long time. It's taking me a long time. So that's the thing that's even more disturbing. And just as a social justice aside, that's one of the biggest problems with our country and so many other places in the world right now is lack of quality education. A standardized test does not make ye a brilliant student, and nor does it actually pull out and identify some of the most brilliant students. And it's insane how education, which is the very, tool by which we can be most fully liberated, also is politicized, also has oppressive tactics in it. And so when I think about your ask and your question and your observation of they don't even know, it's like, yeah, they don't even know. I will even say that some of the companies marketing and some of the teachers teaching these ideas that really aren't helpful, they don't even know. In fact, I would bank on the percentage split of like unaware to malicious being most of them are just very unaware. I don't think that the majority of companies who are like really trying to push a certain fitness ideology into your mind are bad people. I definitely think that those are out there as well, but I think most of them are relating from their space of consciousness. And I will just say quickly that is actually one of the saddest things that I've seen when it comes to funding women's fitness businesses, because a lot of women-owned fitness businesses are funded by men. Oftentimes are funded by white men. And to say that a white man can avidly relate to the experience of being in a woman's body in a fitness class is just so far-fetched. But because a lot of those companies sell faster, they're getting the money.
Oof,
and so
that's heavy.
Like right now we're about to launch an app, and just candidly with you, I mean, you know Shaktibarre, it's amazing community, it's press, all this great stuff, right? But like a lot of business advisors right now would tell me don't launch because you're just going to drown. Because Peloton just came out with Barre, because Kayla Itsines, love her by the way, her sweat app just came out with Barre. And so they would actually be telling me that because they love me. They'd be like, girl, like it's a monster, all of the ad spend, the way that Instagram is changing, it's all going towards bigger companies. And those bigger companies that have less room for psychological development, personal development, intimate relating and knowing, those are more likely the companies perpetuating these ideas. It's just insane. And so really all that you can do is hope, just as you and I have created this amazing relationship, hope that there's like a collection of people, even if they're all doing the same thing as you, who even cares? Like there's a collection of people that are smaller companies that really get the difference and have created something amazing, even if you don't see them on, the side of a building or whatever. By that, I mean like a mural, not trying to make any other like joke about 2020, like a mural is what I'm talking about. And like, hopefully it's the people, just like what just happened, with democracy in the US, hopefully the people will be heard. And those people are a lot of the smaller fitness companies like you and I, who are taking the time to address important topics. And if there's enough of us and we're not competitive with each other, even if it means some of us close, miss out, have to adapt, whatever the fuck ever, because honestly, it's not worth selling our souls. It's not worth telling another person to sell their soul by a way of a certain fitness marketing tactic. So the more the merrier.
Yeah, I agree that you brought up a lot. It's so deep, right? It's like, first of all, there's unconscious consumerism in regards to fitness, right? Because everybody wants to look good and feel good, but yet they don't realize they're kind of buying into this Walmart approach of fitness, which is completely unhealthy. And even specifically to women's bodies, right? Because I'm in a woman's body and I work so much with the womb cycle. It's like,
Right.
we are completely unaware of the fact that our bodies are so unique and hormonally, energetically, emotionally, and to be feeding off of these big giant monopolies is simply unrealistic and unhealthy. But I do believe, like you're saying, right, that there is a growing number of us that see this and are doing something about it. It's just a matter of time, I think, and educating other people about what's actually happening.
Yeah, it's true. There is a growing number, and we took a poll at Shaktibarre just within our own community, and I think it was 89% of our clients want to invest their time and bodies and energy in companies that do good in the world. And that's a gigantic number, even for a small little case study like that, or survey study. And other companies, I think my friend Shayna Tyler, who does a lot of business coaching, she pulled a survey, I think just from a bigger sample, that said something like 70%. So whatever it is, it's definitely gone up. I think the conscious consumer is becoming a little bit more of the norm, especially when a lot of small businesses have had to close. Obviously, as the consumer, you're not really sure what's going on behind the scenes. So maybe you go and you buy the Peloton thing or the Nike thing, and you're like, oh, I'm sure the small business will be okay. I'll buy from them too. But then you start kind of going to the other classes a little bit. Maybe your schedules don't line up. It could be as innocent as that. And then before you know it, boom, that studio closes forever, or that app shuts down. So it's very important, if this podcast today is resonating with you, to invest small. It's very important. These companies are getting pushed out, and they are the ones that have the critical voice, and they are the ones that are going to give you the same, they're going to, again, like I said, go for a walk, you're going to get ripped, just be consistent. So they're going to give you the same amazing workout. It does not matter if your app has a freaking flashlight on it, or it comes with a membership to Lions, unlimited Lions milk delivered to your doorstep every month. None of that shit matters. You just have to be consistent, and you have to enjoy mostly the class that you take and the people teaching it. So if you can, go into your BOA or TD Bank, your local bank, and look at your bank statement from this month and ask yourself, not even just in fitness, but in every company you buy from, where can I stop giving to the big guys? Where can I help the little guys, help their voices be heard? That feeling of integrity lives within you. It lives within you, and every rep and every pulse and every shake that you experience in a class somehow is impacted by your state of mind. And if your state of mind is one of integrity and feeling good about, the way you show up in this world and the way you help your communities and whose voice that you want to help uplift, then do everything you can. Everything. Go through your food, go through your closet, go through your phone, and just wash away the things that aren't contributing to your full fitness, and namely looking to see where you invest your money in classes. Really thinking about that.
Yeah, and that just turns the whole dynamic between consumer, client, business it makes it so much more conscious, right? And naturally, I think, I mean, I have no experience in psychology, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but I would imagine that just knowing that I'm supporting a human being, not just some kind of huge monopoly, like Corinne, I support you, right? So like that energetically in my heart, it feels good. And somehow I show up more for myself when I show up for you, right? Like that conscious, yeah.
It's like one trick about getting most is accountability. All these apps and all these commercials are trying to put that in place in some way. Buy our journal, write your intentions on a postcard, mail it to yourself, phone a friend, whatever. So all these different tactics are trying to keep you accountable, because the social accountability of fitness, that is what the physical brick and mortar fitness business was built on. It was built on this social accountability, and that's missing right now. So when instead, if you could convert your mindset to, okay, well, who else is in my class? Are these people that are like good people? Or do they look, like kind of come from all over? They look like they have my back. And these people that I'm buying from, all the energy that goes into creating this class for me and showing up for me on their hardest days in their body, is this somebody that I want to give my money to? I mean, that is another form of accountability. It's like supporting your fellow classmates and supporting your teachers and knowing them to be real people. That, I mean, they're all real people, but knowing them to be the kind of people that you can kind of get down with, the most, and then try it on, try on taking classes from the bigger companies, and maybe you do a mix. Maybe you buy from like 2 smaller companies and 1 bigger one. I mean, for the cost of what a studio membership used to be, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. From $200 is now $99.99 a month. Like, get 5. So, yeah, I would just try it on, and try on working from that mentality of like, okay, well, if I don't have 20 fellow gals in a room now who I'm showing up to be accountable to, and like my family's not on a fitness boat right now, then at least I can show my teacher and my digital classmates and these types of people that I'm showing up regularly, and that I'm a cheerleader for them. And you just kind of never know, like, until someone does it for you, how important that is. Just to see a familiar face consistently. There's Celeste again. Oh, there's Corinne again. It becomes a part of your experience. Taking fitness, it's like you're gonna get the tricep. You're gonna get the tricep tone. Okay, guys, like that. If you want a toned tricep, call Celeste and I can tell you how to do that shit in 3 seconds, like easily. So that is easy. It's the whole like sticking with it, the dialogue around it. Who's supporting you toward that? Why do you have a toned tricep? It's like those are the things that, unbeknownst to you, maybe, are actually the hard part. That's actually what keeps you from coming back or motivates you to show up. That's where the real like web is, untangle.
Yeah, and that's what actually provides long-term sustainable holistic living, right? Like this is not a diet approach. We're not trying to get 21-day abs and then what, right? Like how do you sustain that for 5 years, right? And I guess that's why one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this, especially during the holiday season, because on top of everything that's happened for 2020, on top of the holiday season itself, now how can we approach fitness from a more conscious perspective so that not only do we benefit our bodies, but like we have a healthier mental state, we have a healthier relationship with one another in the midst of a technological, era, right?
You mean we could have that, or?
Well, we get a choice. Like, we have that choice. We just have to be aware of that.
Right. Like, just Yes, I'm a big encourager of choice. And then I also think to myself, as looping back to something I said earlier, some of us are literally too tired to make like that choice every day. And so if you must spend 15 minutes to do the research on conscious companies, and then just surrender to them. Take their class every day until the end of the year, month and a half. Just do that for yourself. Like, let them do it for you in a way. You know, if you don't have the energy to like make the plan and, you know, like every day try a new conscious company, or seriously and deeply consider whether or not Peloton is really getting you towards your spiritual goals. You know, like if you don't have time for all that, just choose 1 to 2 conscious companies, sign up in advance, sign up for their classes, stay up to date with what they're doing, go for some walks, drink some water, and just like applaud yourself for getting out of bed. You know, if you don't have the energy to make that choice. I do believe, to your point, C, that next year there's always like a fresh energy. Those of us who have at least put our trust, our fitness trust, into the hands of conscious companies and just shown up every day until New Year's Eve, those of us who have done that will have rewired some of these patterns, rewired some of this energy that we have in us that's keeping us not motivated, depressed, in a bad habit, in a mentally unaware state, foggy, cloudy. Those are the types of words that come to mind, you know, unable to connect yoni to heart chakra to third eye. Like there's no like beam of light right now coming out for many of us. So just do that, because sometimes leading with your body will then get you to where you need to be vibrating from. And then you'll have more choice. And then next year you can be like, okay, you know, I wanted to try kayaking. Like, but how do I fit that into my cardio routine? Like you can think about that. You know, you can write your letter to Nike. Dear Nike, would love to see higher spiritual integration, but without cultural appropriation. Possible? Question mark. XOXO 5K. You know, like you can do all that next year. To your comment about power of choice. We believe in you. But this year, it's okay if you don't have the energy for that. And if anything, just choose a place that can kind of make these conscious choices for you.
Yeah, I love that. I love all that. And yeah, it's about keeping it simple, right? And if you can't make a choice, yeah, just keep it as simple as possible and make it easier for yourself by not having to make more choices, right? And I have one last question before we close off our conversation. And as what I'm seeing is the younger generations. And I don't want to put an age bracket. We're both in our early 30s. So let's say like 20s and even younger, like teenage. What is our role as conscious fitness leaders, or maybe just these monopolies, just the role that the branding and the messaging is having on this younger generation that is caught up in the social dilemma? That to me is so at the forefront of so much of my work, and I'm sure so much of your work. Like, what do you see from that psychology point of view can happen? I'm like genuinely worried about it in a sense.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking of having a daughter and I'm like, I would say that because technology is at such a fast pace, and as we've mentioned today, a lot of these punishing marketing tactics that fitness companies use, fitness and wellness companies use, we are unaware of them because they're so sneaky. They're so like integrated with our own mental habits. I would say the first option is to get your young one off of social media and or allow them to use it on your phone for a set time every day, every other day, 20 minutes or so, and make sure that you schedule a time in that week or even that day to check in with them and talk about what they experienced on social media. Like, what'd you see today? Oh, cool, interesting. Oh, you did? Tell me a little bit more about that. So you yourself, you know, or us ourselves, you know, parenting, need to walk the walk and need to be present enough to create those conversations, because a interaction with fitness marketing and body marketing from a young age with no supervision, and it being such an onslaught of subliminal messaging, I think, I mean, my God, I didn't have that growing up. I pretty much grew up like in a field, and I still have a whole host of issues because that messaging started when I was like more in college. And for these gals, it's starting when they're even younger, you know, they're using makeup and all this stuff when they're like 9. And so I think now it's even more important to think of social media as just another class that your child is in at school, that they would ask you for help with the homework. And even if it's not an actual class, make it a class, make it as important as a class. Check in with them every day, every other day. Put mindful boundaries around it and know what's going on. I would say that I think that key piece of education is really all we can do from like the microcosm upward.
Yeah. And I think just having this conversation is a huge help for any women out there who have young ones, or just even teenage girls that may be listening, right? Just realizing that there is so much subliminal marketing, and not even marketing, you know, like you said earlier, people that are not even aware, posting pictures and then projecting certain body images, and just lifestyles that are not necessarily realistic nor healthy and sustainable long term. So
yeah. I agree with that. And I welcome, you know, anyone that needs further guidance, even if it just means you reach out to Celeste and I and we direct you to the right person. You know, reach out. The last thing that either of us would want is you're listening to this podcast and you have a ton of brilliant questions, and then you think that no one would answer them, or they're too silly, or you forget. You know, don't forget. This is an open door. This is your moment to change the relationship you have with your body through fitness, like once and for all, to really decide what your fitness is going to mean for yourself. This is your moment. You know, we're here at your beckoning call, available.
yes, I love that. Absolutely. Totally agree. And I'm really excited for your book. Can you give us any insight into when that will be coming out?
Oh, gee. I don't think it's going to be for another 2 years. I think it's probably going to be early 2023 Q1 situation.
Okay.
Because I have to do a lot of coding in the digital space. Now that I've already done some in the physical fitness space, I have to really compare that to how fitness is now being talked about in the digital space before I come to any links, any correlational conclusions. But I'm studying it, and a percent of our profits from Shaktibarre fund that research on body positivity and body compassion. And it's just, there's a whole amazing world out there. And I hope to be one of those people for your amazing viewers, that they know that they can come to and connect with.
Yeah, I love it. I love what you're doing. Keep it up, please. We all need more of it. Yeah. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I see hope. I think that there's so many more out there realizing this, and it's just time to provide more of a healthy approach to fitness and wellness overall.
Absolutely is. I think now's the time, you know, now's the time. If not now, when? I
Right?
look forward to talking with you more, my love. Thank you so much for having me today.
Likewise. Thank you for being here and spending your time with us. Until next time.
All right. Bye.